Hello everyone, I am Desiree and welcome to another exciting episode of Honeysuckle Homestead Retreat. As you can see, I finally got my fire going in my wood stove and I couldn't be happier actually. It's very warm, it feels fantastic, and it took me a little while to get to where I am today. This actually isn't the first fire I've had in my stove. So, yeah, a little bit more on that later. But I will say right now, what I have done today, actually, is I put this heat shield up behind my stove. I didn't actually need it for the stove part itself, but for the pipes. And I had originally planned on putting a heat shield around the pipes themselves, which is what this is. And after I went through the trouble of cutting all of it, and putting more holes in it so I could attach it to the pipes and screwing it into the pipes, I realized I didn't like how it looked. And I also didn't like that it took up so much space around the stove itself, because it had to have a clearance of 1 inch around the pipe, at least halfway around or partially way around. And I really wanted to put this fan on here because it really pushes out the heat, which is awesome. It works really well, by the way. And I also wanted to be able to make some hot tea on the stove. Well, make the water anyway for the tea. So I wanted a little bit more space on the stovetop itself, and the heat shield around the pipe wasn't really helping. So what I decided to do was to go with the other option, which was to get a 1/2 inch or more of cement board and put it behind the stove. Okay, and I know it doesn't look that great right now. I am aware it looks kind of ugly. So what I'm planning on doing is adding white subway tile to this, to the back of, or to the back of this for the front of it, I guess you would say. So it'll look a lot nicer in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to get that done on this trip, but I did want to go ahead and get the heat shield up there and get the pipe heat shields off. So that was my goal for this trip, and yay, I got it done. So I'm actually quite thrilled with what I got done this weekend. If you want to see how I did all that, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to start this week's episode by showing you what I did a previous weekend. So we're going to go back in time a little bit, and you'll get to see how I cut down the heat shield for the pipe by hand. That was not fun nor easy. And how I also had to pre-drill holes into it and then install it onto my stovepipe. But then we get to the really, really good part, which is me lighting my stove for the very, very first time. Enjoy! Heat shield's on. I have one here because, just right here, because the clearance between here and this isn't enough. I didn't know if I really needed it there or not, but I put it there anyway. I didn't do it this way because I've got enough clearance this way. I'm not the hugest fan of this heat shield setup, so what I did is I only put 2 screws at the top and the bottom of this heat shield on the back, because really my only concern is this back wall. So there is 1 inch of clearance between the heat shield and the pipe on this back wall part. I think it'll do for now. I really just want to see if I can get a fire going, but in the future what I actually may do is I may put a heat shield on this wall where the pipe is. Yeah, I may have wasted some money on a heat shield that I'm not even going to use. But for now, we're going to see if we can start a fire. Okay, so I did have to get starter logs and stuff. I haven't chopped my own wood yet on my land, but you know, I haven't really had the time. So I bought some wood. Got these little starter sticks. So I'm supposed to let this fire slowly warm up. So I have to do it first with these starter sticks. Okay, I got a fire, yay! So I went ahead and put these bigger chunks of wood on my fire to make it get like really hot because it has to reach a temperature of 500 and maintain that for about an hour in order to continue the process of curing the cement. So that's what I have going on in there now. I'm just kind of monitoring it for the next hour. I mean, it's my first fire in this fireplace, so the first fire in my home. So yeah, I'm a little concerned. I just want to make sure that everything's good. So yeah. The fire alarm in my tiny house went off multiple times. So I ended up taking it down because my dogs are terrified by it. He's shaking and he hasn't left my side since. So I'm hoping that he'll calm down, but he's been shaken for about 45 minutes now. Okay, so as far as the smoke goes, I just remembered that the Tiny Wood Stove Company told me that the first time you light up the stove, it actually will produce a lot of smoke. And I guess I didn't really realize how much smoke that would be. It wasn't terrible, but there was definitely a haze in my house, and that's what was making the fire alarm go off. But the reason that it causes all that smoke is because the paint and everything that's on the stove itself has to cure, and when it does, that's it burning off, like it's curing and burning off or whatever. So that actually was what caused the smoke, which makes me think it probably wasn't very good for me to be breathing in. But what I did do is I took this box fan here and I actually used this out my front door, and I blew most of the smoke out of here. So even though it's quite cold outside and my dog is digging in his bed, he's finally calmed down. He's not shaking anymore. Thank goodness. And he is back to his old ways of getting his bed ready and making lots of noise. So, now that they're all snuggled. When I first arrived here today, it was about 4 hours ago, I immediately started up the generator because I didn't want my dogs to be cold. So I started up the generator and I started up my inverter here, which is supposed to be keeping the temperature at 68 degrees. I was using that to warm up. I'm actually going to turn it off. I was using that to warm the place so the dogs wouldn't be cold, and it would be something to keep them warm while I was fiddling with the stove. But I've discovered that it was actually blowing out cool air there, so I don't want it to cool the place down. So I'm just going to turn that off and let the stove keep doing its thing. The fire has died down and now it's just these embers. So I don't know how long those will go on, but I'm really happy to see them there. The place is warmed up a good bit. So this says it's 66 degrees in here now. And I didn't get a picture of it, I should have. But it was originally like 49 degrees in here today when I arrived. So it was quite cold. The temperature outside tonight is supposed to drop down to 30 degrees. So it's going to be dropping below freezing. Okay, I just want to say I don't know what the temperature is up here in the loft right now. But it's very cozy. It's super cozy. With the stove going, it's pretty awesome. So I don't know how long the fire and the embers will last without me adding 2 of them over the night. But what I'm hoping is that I won't have to add any more. That because it's quite warm up here. I'm kind of hoping that the heat just kind of stays in the house and I don't have to really do anything. I'm thinking that might be a possibility because when I would run the mini split, I would have to turn it off in the middle of the night because it got too hot in here. And then we would just, me and the dogs, would just snuggle up in the blankets and be fine. Like, it was actually enough. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen this time. It is warmer up here than it is downstairs, but not like a ton warmer. Maybe 5 degrees warmer. Maybe. So it's like 70 downstairs, so it might be like 75. Maybe up here. It could be a little bit warmer. It could be closer to 80, I guess. But I'm not bringing the temperature gauge up here to find out. I guess I should, but I'm in bed now. So I might do that tomorrow and find out what the temperature is up here compared to what it is downstairs. But for now, I'm just going to go to bed, and that's it. All right, G? You going to go to bed, buddy? Going to go to bed, buddy? It's bedtime. You want to get under the covers? You want to get under the covers? Come on. Come on. Come on, G. That's where he sleeps. Under the covers. All right, now we are back to the current weekend. Here I am carrying my cement board over to my deck so I can measure it and cut it down to size. And then I'm going to pre-drill some holes in it for the screws based on where I measured out my studs to be on my wall. I just wanted to take this moment while you guys are watching me work in fast forward motion here. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. If you were wondering what kind of screws I'm using for this installation, they are actually heat-safe screws specifically for heat shields. So this is the pack that they came in. They also come with ceramic spacers that are 1 inch long, which is exactly what they need to be for a heat shield. Okay, I'm taking down the heat shields that were around the pipe. These are the little tabs that I'm using to fill in the holes in the pipe. Okay, I got all the tabs in place. I use stove cement as an adhesive for the tabs. I am really liking this fan. I can even feel warm air being blown all the way back here. I'm considering getting a second one to blow in the other direction. And here is the completed heat shield on the wall. It fits really nicely here. I'm really actually happy with how it turned out. I can't wait to add tile to it to make it look better. But I am very, very satisfied with the finished product at the moment. All right, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell. It will alert you whenever I post a new video, which I am trying to do on a weekly basis now. See you guys next time.